The sky above the alien planet was a mix of purple and green. Clouds drifted slowly across the horizon, shaped like long ribbons. The air smelled sweet, and the ground was soft under his boots. Luke had been walking for an hour, checking his scanner every few minutes. He was part of a small human crew sent to explore this world, but he was alone today. He liked it better that way. Luke was a simple man. He did not talk much and never liked fighting. He had joined the exploration team because he wanted peace. War had taken too much from him back on Earth. Out here, among the stars, he hoped to find something better. He was walking through a narrow valley when his scanner beeped. There was life nearby. The signal was weak but close. He stopped and looked around. On the left side of the valley, he saw a small opening in the rocks. It looked like a cave. Luke moved closer, carefully stepping over stones and dry grass inside. The cave, it was dark and quiet. He turned on the light on his wrist. The beam showed something moving. He raised his hand slowly to show he meant no harm. A soft noise came from deeper inside. Then he saw them. 3 figures were huddled together. They were not human. Their skin was pale blue, and they had large black eyes. One of them was taller, probably the parent, and 2 smaller ones clung to its sides. The tallest alien stared at Luke without blinking. Its body trembled, not from fear, but from cold and hunger. Luke lowered his scanner and knelt down. He spoke softly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The alien tilted its head. It seemed confused. Luke slowly reached into his pack and pulled out a food bar. He broke it in half and placed it on a flat rock near the entrance. Then he stepped back. The alien waited for a moment, then moved forward. It sniffed the bar, then picked it up. The children stared at Luke, their big eyes filled with wonder and fear. The parent gave a quiet sound and passed a piece to them. Luke smiled. "You're not dangerous, are you?" He sat down just outside the cave and pulled out another food bar for himself. He didn't eat it right away. He just watched them. The alien family ate slowly, like they hadn't had food in days. Suddenly, his scanner gave off a sharp warning sound. A new signal had appeared, and it was moving fast. He checked the screen. A human patrol drone was coming this way. That was bad. The drones were not friendly. They were used to find threats, and sometimes they destroyed anything they didn't understand. Luke stood up quickly. He looked at the alien family. They were still weak, too slow to run. The drone would be here in less than a minute. He made a quick choice. "Stay here," he whispered, though he knew they couldn't understand. He ran out of the cave and grabbed a long piece of metal from the ground. It must have fallen from a past ship or rover. He held it in both hands and climbed up a small ridge near the cave entrance. He could see the drone, now a small flying machine with a blinking red light. Luke raised his voice and shouted at it. "Hey!" Over here, the drone turned toward him. It moved fast, stopping just a few meters away. Its weapons spun into place. Luke ran. He jumped off the ridge and landed near the cave. He turned and waited. The drone came down and aimed at him. He threw the metal rod at it, hitting its side. Sparks flew, but the drone stayed in the air. Then it fired. The blast was loud. Light exploded in front of him. Luke jumped in front of the cave opening, spreading his arms wide. The energy hit his side, throwing him back, but he did not fall far. Smoke filled the air. Dust rose from the ground. His ears rang. He felt pain. shoot through his shoulder and chest. But he was still alive. Behind him, the alien family stared at him in shock. The tall one crawled forward, then stopped just beside him. It looked at the burns on his jacket. The children peeked out, scared but curious. Luke coughed and tried to smile. "You're safe. That's all that matters." The drone sparked again, trying to power up, but Luke grabbed a rock and smashed its side. The light went out. The machine dropped. He sat down, breathing hard. The alien adult moved closer. It gently touched his arm, then pressed its forehead to his. Luke froze. The gesture felt like a thank you. The children copied the move, one by one. He didn't know what to say. They didn't speak his language, but they had spoken clearly in their own way. Luke looked up at the sky. A few more drones might come soon. He had no idea what would happen next, but in that quiet moment, as the alien family huddled around him, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. He wasn't alone. Asterisk when he reached a clearing near the Corellan home. He saw the family. The two children were frozen in place. Vorik was trying to pull them to safety. Solani held her arm. It was hurt. A piece of metal was on the ground behind her. Logan shouted, "Get down." Another blast echoed from the crash site. A second explosion. Threw hot air and sharp pieces into the forest. Logan didn't stop to think. He ran forward and jumped over the children, covering them with his body. The shockwave hit them hard. Debris flew through the air. He felt something sharp cut across his back. Fire and smoke filled his nose. His ears rang. But he held tight over the small Corellans. When the ground stopped shaking, he lifted his head. The children were shaking. But alive, Solani crawled over and pulled them into her arms. Logan sat up, pain shooting through his shoulder. Vorik looked at him, eyes wide with shock. Then he helped Logan to his feet. "Are you hurt?" Logan asked, coughing. Vorik said nothing. Instead, he placed his hand over Logan's heart and gave a slow bow. Logan smiled weakly. "Glad you're all okay." He looked toward the burning wreckage in the distance. Whatever that ship was, it had come down fast and hard. Logan reached for his scanner again. He needed to send a message for help. They couldn't stay here. Smoke was getting thicker. The fire was spreading. Logan helped Solani walk, while Vorik carried the children. They moved slowly, carefully avoiding the burning patches. Logan's back hurt with every step, but he kept going. They found a small cave behind the ridge. It was cool and safe inside. Logan helped them inside and gave the fire blanket to the children. Then he set down the medkit and opened it. He cleaned the cut on Seleni's arm and wrapped it gently. Then he looked at his own side. His shirt was torn, and his skin was burned in places. Still, it could have been worse. The children huddled. Next to him, they looked at him with wide, silent eyes. One of them reached out and touched his hand. Logan smiled and let them dot. He tapped on his scanner. A weak signal. No response yet. Night came fast. The sky turned dark, and small glowing insects flew outside. Inside the cave, the firelight from the forest flickered across the walls. Logan sat against the stone wall and tried to stay awake. He heard a soft sound. Vorik was singing. The song was gentle, with slow, deep tones. The children slowly closed their eyes. Even Solani smiled, though she looked tired. Logan felt peace in the sound. He looked at them and thought about home. Earth felt far away now, but here, in this cave, with these beings, he didn't feel alone. He had protected them. They had shown him care in return. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the song carry him into sleep. Logan woke up when the sun was rising. Light came through the cracks in the cave wall. His back still hurt, and his shoulder felt stiff, but he could move. He looked around. The Kirellan family was still asleep, curled together like a nest. He stepped outside to get some fresh air. The sky was clear again, but smoke still hung in the air. The fire had died down, but parts of the forest were still smoldering. Logan turned on his scanner again. The signal was a little stronger now. He walked to the top of the ridge to get a better connection. He tried sending another message. "This is Logan, tech officer from Aurelis Ivy Outpost. Emergency, crash confirmed. Civilians rescued. Requesting evac team." He waited. The scanner blinked. No reply yet. He climbed back down and returned to the cave. The children were awake now. One of them ran to him and hugged his leg. Logan smiled and patted their head. Solani was sitting up, watching him with calm eyes. Vorik gave him a small nod. They didn't need words. Logan shared the last of his food with them. It wasn't much, just dried fruit and some ration bars. The children made a funny face when they tasted the bar, but they ate it anyway. He laughed softly. Later that day, Logan and Vorik walked back toward the crash site. They stayed low and moved slowly. The area was still dangerous, but Logan wanted to see what had come down. When they reached the edge of the wreckage, Logan stopped. The ship was in pieces. It wasn't human. It wasn't Kirellan either. The metal was dark and had no markings. He looked at the control panel and touched it. Cold, he found a broken symbol on one piece of the hull. He didn't recognize it. That worried him. "We need to report this," he said softly. They moved back to the cave before night came. That evening, Logan made a fire near the cave entrance. The flames kept the cave warm. The children sat near it and drew pictures in the dirt with sticks. One of them drew a shape that looked like Logan, standing with his arms out, and smaller shapes under him. Vorik looked at the drawing, then looked at Logan. He spoke in a slow, careful voice. "You, ... shielded." Logan nodded. "Yes." Solani touched her heart and then pointed at him. He didn't know what it meant exactly, but he felt it. That night, Logan didn't feel like a visitor. He felt like something more. He looked up at the stars and wondered what kind of trouble had fallen from the sky. But for now, he would stay with them. He would protect them if danger came again, because they were not just aliens anymore. They were something close to family. The next morning, Logan heard a beeping sound from his scanner. The screen showed a message. A human ship had received his call. Help was on the way. He felt both relief and sadness. Relief because the family would be safe. Sadness because he would have to leave them soon. He went back into the cave and showed the scanner to Vorik. Vorik looked at the message, then at Logan. He said nothing, but Logan saw the understanding in his eyes. A few hours later, a small shuttle landed in a nearby clearing. 2 human officers came out and checked Logan's injuries. One of them looked at the Kirellans with surprise. "They're alive." "You saved them," Logan nodded. "They were in danger. I couldn't leave them." The officers helped move the Kirellans into the shuttle. The children held Logan's hands tightly. They didn't want to let go. Inside the shuttle, the humans gave food and water to everyone. One of the officers called their base and sent a full report. Logan sat quietly beside the family. The youngest child leaned against his side and closed their eyes. When the shuttle took off, Logan looked out the window at the burning forest below. He thought of the cave, the songs, and the quiet nights under the stars. Later, at the base, a Kirilan elder came to meet them. He was dressed in robes that shimmered like crystal. He spoke to Vorik and Selani, then turned to Logan. The elder held out a small glowing stone. He placed it in Logan's hand. Everyone around grew quiet. "This is a heartstone," the officer whispered. "It's sacred. They never give it to outsiders." Logan looked at the stone. It was warm in his hand. He didn't know what to say. For once, he had no words. The Kirellan family bowed before him. Logan stood there, the stone glowing in his hand, feeling more human than he ever had before. The base became a safe place for the Kirellan family. The staff made a small home for them near the greenhouse dome. Logan visited every day. He brought books, music, and small tools the children could play with. He watched them laugh and grow, strong again. One morning, Logan was called to the command room. A signal had been decoded from the wrecked ship. It was not a message of peace. It was a warning. The unknown ship was a scout. A larger force might follow. Whatever they were, the officer said, they weren't friendly. Logan felt a cold weight in his chest. He walked outside and sat under the trees, thinking. Vorik found him there. "They are coming." Vorik asked. Logan nodded. Vorik said, "Then we stand together." That night, the humans and Kirillans held a meeting. They would prepare defenses. Logan worked with both teams. He showed the engineers what he had seen at the crash site. Vorik taught his people how to use human tools. Everyone trained. Even the children watched, learning what they could. Logan was proud, not just of the work, but of the trust. One evening, as the sun set, Selani brought Logan a new robe made by her people. It shimmered like stars. She said softly, "You are part of us now." Logan accepted it with a quiet smile. He didn't know what the future would bring, but he knew this. He would stand by them, no matter what came from the stars. A few weeks passed. The air around the base grew tense. The warning had been shared with other human colonies. Extra supplies were brought in. Defense towers were set up. Logan helped with the wiring and systems. The Kirillans built walls from crystal stone. They worked side by side, human and alien, as if they had always been one people. At night, Logan sat with the children and told stories. Some were from Earth. Others he made up. The children listened closely, eyes wide with wonder. Selani smiled as she listened to her hand resting on Vorik's. One morning, the skies darkened again. A ship entered the atmosphere. This one was not damaged. It moved with purpose. Alarms rang at the base. People ran to stations. Logan stood at the front gate with Vorik. His new robe was tucked into his belt, and he held a scanner in one hand. The ship landed far off, but they could see the dust rising. Then strange shapes came out of it, tall figures with metal armor and glowing eyes. They marched like machines. "They are not here to talk," Logan said. Vorik nodded. "Then we show them we are not afraid." The humans and Kirillans formed lines. Some held energy rifles, others shields. The children were sent to the deep shelter. Logan stood near the command tent. He watched the enemy draw closer. Then, without a word, they opened fire. Bright beams shot through the air. Explosions lit the ground. Logan ducked behind a wall and returned fire. The sky turned red again, just like that first night. The fight lasted for hours. People were hurt. Some machines broke, but no one ran. Vorik led a group of Kirellons through the enemy side. They struck with crystal blades and glowing tools. Logan saw them fight and felt hope. At the end, the enemy pulled back. The field was silent. Smoke rose into the sky. Logan limped across the ground. He found Saloni holding one of the wounded. He helped her. They had won, but they knew this was only the first wave. Later, in the quiet night, Logan sat under the stars again. The children came to him, safe and tired. "You stayed," one of them said. Logan looked at them and nodded. "I always will."